angels willing to hold us in their arms. When our words of stone are ashes and we both passed on. Let forever mean forever and carry on.
Good afternoon. Just another day of kind of keeping up with the news. A lot of turmoil here locally as we are facing more restrictions because our numbers, COVID-19, our numbers are rising where we're at. So more and more restrictions are being put under place. A lot of people not very happy with that. I think there's a meeting tonight at a winery in a nearby town. There's an attorney that has been fighting this the whole way. And you know, it boils down to the guys just trying to rake in the cash cow. That's all it amounts to. The guy doesn't give a damn. He's an attorney. He doesn't care about people's rights. He doesn't care about, all he's caring about is his wallet. And so it's a shame, though, because he's got people thinking that, you know, he's standing behind them, and, you know, he's got people thinking that they've got a leg to stand on, and, you know, in a sense you do, and in a sense you don't. I mean, I just think it's idiotic. I think the whole thing is idiotic, but whatever. You're going to have immature people that just don't want to face reality. And it's sad. You know, we sit here and we talk as adults in 2020. We sit here and we talk about the generations that got trophies for nothing and how that was bad, but then turn around and expect a trophy for nothing, right? We can't mitigate a virus without mitigating it. We just can't. And you don't mitigate it by ignoring it, or by saying it doesn't exist, or by saying, well, it only kills the old people. Well, that's a real nice gesture. I mean, there's been several people that's pretty well just plain out said it. I mean, is that really how we want to be? I mean, it's ridiculous. You know, I've read, I don't know how many novels, you know, post-apocalyptic type of novels, and most of them, and I'll repeat myself, most of them at some point in the novel winds up with the elderly and disabled people being rounded up and incinerated. Let me repeat myself. Almost every novel I read, and by the way, these authors do their homework. Almost every novel I read winds up with the elderly and disabled being rounded up and incinerated. There is a reason why that is in almost every novel that I have read. Because that is how it is done in history, time and time again. And they're getting your mindset ready for it right now. Talking about normalizing pedophilia and all of that stuff, which they absolutely are. Oops, sorry about that. But they're also normalizing the neglect of our elderly and our sickly. And largely the same people that are out there screaming about how they're trying to normalize pedophilia are the ones out there trying to normalize offing the elderly and the sick. Oh, yeah, by the way, they're the pro-life group, too. So, you can see the tongue is forketh. Right? That's the society we're living in. Bunch of double-mindedness, talking out the side of necks. Not a whole lot of compassion. Not a whole lot of patriotism. Not a whole lot of independent thought. Yeah. So, anyway, like I say, locally, things are a little stirred up. Of course, I've been keeping an eye on news, everywhere. They have been trying to claim that this gentleman that was poisoned, I believe he's a Russian gentleman, Navalny, and I'm probably saying his name incorrectly, but they were trying to claim that it was Novichok that he was poisoned with. So, from my understanding, it doesn't in any way appear that it actually was Novichok. But that's quite an interesting thing to watch unfold, and I don't really understand all the ins and outs of it and all of that. I'm not, not that up on everything that's going on over in Russia and all of that stuff, but it is interesting watching it unfold. Lots of tensions remain high internationally, so extremely high. And I tell you what, I will be pretty surprised if we make it to Election Day without being in war. I will be surprised. We'll see. We'll see. If we do make it to Election Day, I don't think it's going to be very shortly after before we're in a major global conflict, and I mean a world war. We're right there. We're right there. And there are so many indicators that I am seeing that is indicating that it's like right at the cusp of popping off. There's a lot of things going on too, and I'll just say this: there's a lot of things going on that, like, you'll hear that they're doing this or whatever, and they'll say that this is the reason they're doing that. Not necessarily, and I just want to say that there's a lot of things that are going on internationally that are getting more or less blamed, or the reason or excuse is COVID-19, and it's not. It's international tensions, and I will say that. Like some of these travel restrictions are not COVID-19 related. Telling you that right now. Some of these travel restrictions are not COVID-19 related. So, there's a lot going on, folks. There's a lot going on, and we're not getting told even remotely the truth in this country. And of course, the important stories are being totally glossed over. They might get a quick, short mention at best. And then they carry on and on and on with the stuff that really is ignorant. And I still don't know what to sit here and tell you to watch out for being the number one threat. Being that number one thing that's gonna really kick it off. I'm telling you, it's looking a lot like civil unrest. I would say it's a toss-up between civil unrest and war. Because war can do it real quickly. quickly. And so can civil unrest, but you'll have a little bit more likely of a warning with civil unrest than you would with war. I do believe, though, it is going to be one of those two things that kicks off the major SHTF. So, and when I say civil unrest, of course, we've been seeing, a lot of civil unrest. No, I mean a large, coordinated, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, it has been. No. Not on the level that I'm speaking. I mean a large, coordinated attack, like an attack, a large, coordinated attack. That is what I'm referring to, something along those lines. A major act of terrorism. No, I'm not talking about burning down a courthouse or something like that. You may or may not consider that an act of terrorism, whatever. I don't like to be that loose with wording, okay? And there's reasons why. They like to use our language against us, and anytime they get a chance to use our language against us, they do. And they have been trying to pervert the verbiage for quite some time. And, now acts of terrorism and what do they call it? The devices. Weapons of mass destruction have totally been reclassified, by the way. Okay? And I've got an issue with that. I do. Because there's a reason why they're doing it, folks. Man, too many people have believed hook, line, and sinker what the government has fed them for way too long. And still, far too many do. Hence, the Blue Line supporters. Our government is not in our interest. There's no two ways to put it. No two ways to put it. And that means all of them. That goes from the lawmakers, the ones that are supposed to translate and put the law into action, meaning like the judges, legislator, or judicial, and then you have the enforcers. And the thing of it is, the way our system is set up, it was split up, split up different systems within a system to be able to have checks and balances and to be able to try to prevent corruption. All right, because it's natural instinct of man to corrupt. And all three of those systems have gotten corrupted, and all three of those systems are in bed with one another. And that's why you have a privatized prison system. Okay? And they're making a fortune in that privatized prison system. Right? And they're raking people over the coals for victimless crimes to throw them in those privatized prisons. It's all a racket. And we're allowing it. We're allowing it. In fact, many people cheer it on. They think it's hilarious when somebody else gets an infraction from law enforcement. The hell are people thinking? You being weaker does not make me stronger. It doesn't work that way. If one of you is weaker, that's not going to make me stronger. If two of you is weaker, that's not going to make me stronger. If 2 million of you are weaker, that's not going to make me stronger. You know what's going to make me stronger? 2 million of you that are stronger. That's going to make me stronger. Okay? But they have us totally mentally mind fucked into believing this whole rat race thing and clawing at each other and ripping each other apart for these minimal gains as if we're actually doing something. And destroying any possibility for us to actually take back control of what's ours. Because we can't get beyond our pettiness, and we can't get beyond this notion that if somebody has something, that means I can't have that. Wrong. Just because somebody else has something doesn't mean you can't have it. It doesn't mean it's going to make it harder for you to get. Be happy that somebody else has something. I don't get this world. I don't. But I know we need to do better. I know we need to do better. We've got some crazy times ahead. We've got some really, really crazy times ahead. And we don't learn to pull together, it's going to be impossible. It's going to be absolutely impossible to make it. But I think that's what the powers that be want. I think that's what their plan is. Because all they have to do is interrupt our supply lines, and we're at their mercy. Because we won't get along well enough to work together to be able to do things like produce food. And as long as they're the ones that control that, as long as they're the ones that have food and can say, well, I know you guys can't get your shit together and we've got food, but, it's here, but you got to turn in your firearms. Really is that easy. And all they have to do it is to get you to dehumanize other individuals. That's all they have to do, is get you to dehumanize other individuals. And they did it. As easy as television programming. As long ago as shows as Roseanne. Because that's when the majority of it started. TV shows like Roseanne, like Cops. That's when I quit watching TV. Because I saw it. I saw the mental programming going on, and I didn't want to be a part of it. And I quit watching TV. It's a fact. I contribute a lot of my quote-unquote wokeness to the fact that I do not watch that thing. I get zero information from a television. Zero. Unless I'm watching a documentary about something. That's different. So anyway, I really honestly didn't have anything to talk about. But I guess I did. I can. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll make sure to put this out as an episode as well. Sorry I don't do that more often. Like I said yesterday, if there's any show that you want to see, right, and I don't put the monologue out the next day like I did this morning, because to be honest, I usually don't. But if there's a show that you want to see that I don't put out the monologue the next day as a standalone video on YouTube so you guys can have access right from YouTube, just go to the website. Go to the watchmannews.com. It's right there. They're show archives. So whatever day, whether it's 2020 or 2019, whatever day, just go in, click on the show archive, and there you have it. The entirety of the show. So right there on the website. So, but I will make a mental note to make sure to put out today's monologue as well. So, with that, let's go ahead and start running over the normal stuff and get through headlines and all that good stuff. And yeah, that's the ticket. Gotta have some coffee here. Yummer. All right. Been a dreary day all day. Cloudy. Not really rained, but just been dreary all day. Let's see. Amazon affiliate. We are at goose eggs because it's technically the first of the month for Amazon affiliates. So this is always a day behind. So that's why it's goose eggs. But that shall change soon enough, I'm sure. But I appreciate those that participate in the Amazon affiliate program. For those that don't know, there's a link in the description of the videos as well as at thewatchmannews.com right there. If you click that link, it just takes you to Amazon, but it uses our special link. And when you make purchases, those items don't cost you anything more, but it throws a little bit our way for the sale. All those little bits add up at the end of the month, and it's a little way to help us out. We also have a Teespring store. Best way to see what we have there is go to thewatchmannews.com. Scroll down on the home page. Right now we've got 4 different designs there. If you see a design you're interested in, it's more than just t-shirts. There's tote bags. There's coffee mugs. There's actually face masks for the koala bear. So if you see a design you like, click on the image. That'll take you to Teespring where you'll see the other products where you can make your purchase there. Lastly, we have a PayPal donation link. That's in the description of the videos as well as at thewatchmannews.com. Right in the main menu, it says donate. That takes you to our PayPal donation page. You don't have to have a PayPal account. You can do so as a guest with a debit or a credit card, but I always let people know it does say Transforming Disabilities up top, but it also says Purpose the Watchman News donation. That way you know you're in the right place. All right. Reckon we're to the COVID numbers. All right. Global total confirmed 25,835,301. That's up 500,962. Active cases 7,854,448. Recovered cases 17,122. Let me try that again. 17,122,192. That's up 452,218. Fatal cases 858,661. That's up 10,577. United States total confirmed 6,173,977. That's up 55,773. Active cases 2,725,920. Recovered cases, 3,260,339. That's up 41,774. Fatal cases, 187,718. That's up 1,370. And their chart says yesterday new cases was 41,535 and fatal cases as 1,021. So, again, the numbers all over the place. Your guess is as good as mine. Your guess is as good as mine. Illinois, positive cases, 200 confirmed 238,643 with 8,091 deaths. We're still at a 95% recovery rate, and our particular zip code is at 251 cases. 251 cases. I believe that's 5 more cases than yesterday, I believe. So, yes, an increase in cases here as well. So, all right. Let me have a sip of coffee. We'll do some headlines. Yummer. All right. I'm going to have a vape too because pink starburst, you know? Yum, yum. I'm telling you, I could sit here and just vape and vape and vape and vape on this stuff. I love it. That's the dog days of summer. All right. Let's do, let me, hang on here. 1 second. Muted the mic because I'm sure you didn't want to hear me blow my nose. All right. Do some headlines. Starting with last night's news, Washington decides to lift 33-year-old arms embargo on Cyprus amid intense Greek-Turkish crisis. Equal justice, ? Twitter locks out lawyer of alleged Kenosha shooter Kyle Rittenhouse for violating rules. How do you like them apples, huh? Let's see. Also last night, we are not a vassal state. Philippines Duarte won't stop infrastructure projects with U.S.-sanctioned Chinese firms. Sanctioned, not sanctioned. Let's see. Inconsistent with city's values, D.C. mayor seeks to remove, relocate, and rename dozens of memorials, including the Washington Monument. Yeah, go figure. I guess he's going to put it on the back of a U-Haul or something. I don't know. Well, we're not going to watch. 90 plus arrested. Sorry, I normally skip saying that. Oh well. 90 plus arrested in Extinction Rebellion march through London and Manchester after climate group declares 10 days of disruption. Okay, now to the news I put out today. Amazon seeks intelligence analysts to track down labor organizing threats, calls job listings a mistake after backlash. Starbucks barista fired for making poisonous drink with bleach and wishing a few dead cops in TikTok video. Probably not the smartest thing to do. Japan's ruling party sets schedule to elect PM Abe's successor, says the media. Deepest recession of our lifetime, coronavirus brings Australia's record economic growth to an end. No Indian troops died along Chinese border, Beijing claims amid reports of slain commando soldier. China rejects Pentagon claims that Beijing planning to double nuclear warhead stockpile. U.S. healthcare priciest in the world with huge gap between cost and quality, research reveals. I didn't need the research to tell you that. Sanctioned Venezuelan oil exports rise from historic lows thanks to increase in India sales, says a report. Moscow Zoo announces birth of 4 rare Siberian tigers, marking good news for Russian breed on endangered species red list. That is incredible news. Goldman expects oil to reach $65 per barrel next year. Greece's overcrowded Moria migrant camp reports first coronavirus case. Pause. Back up. Why? Why are they expecting $65 a year or a barrel oil next year? Of course we could read the article and find out, but no, let's not do that. No, let's speculate. Why? Because fuck, everybody else does it. Let's do it. So let's speculate. This is why I think oil will be $65 next year. I think because we're going to be a war-torn country. And I think resources are going to be hard to come by. And I think oil is actually likely going to be a hell of a lot higher than that. So, how's that for an article? I'm just saying. That's my honest thoughts on it. I do. I think I think we're going to be at war by next year. I think it's going to be a lot more than $65 a barrel. Full-blown fascism, pregnant Aussie woman handcuffed and charged with inciting anti-lockdown event on Facebook. How do you like that? It's getting ridiculous. It really, truly is, folks. And see, you know what I was talking about earlier before I started doing the headlines and stuff, when I was talking about us getting along and stuff like that? Because guess what? If we were getting along, if we were truly getting along with one another and standing for and with one another, they wouldn't be able to do this shit. You know why? Because they'd be afraid to death right now. Because there'd be so many fucking people surrounding that jail that she's being held in, they would be afraid to death to keep her behind bars anymore. That is how you fix this. Not by fighting with each other, arguing with each other, lying to each other, trying to get one over on each other. No. Put aside your differences. We've got an out of control, out of their mind government. I know this is Australia, but still, here in the United States, same thing applies. We've got an out of their mind, out of control government, and it ain't going to stop until we stop it. If you want to stop the bullshit court rulings, well, then you got to stop the judges from making the fucking rulings. Right? Plain and simple, folks. If you want to stop the unconstitutional, unjust laws, then you got to stop the lawmakers from making them. And you're not going to do it at a ballot box. Sorry. The system's far too corrupted for that. It's going to take us getting together and showing them no more. That we are willing to put aside our personal differences with one another to say, you, government, aren't going to make our decisions for us. You're going to let us work our stuff out. Because that's largely where the problem lies. Anyway. Disgraceland, Elvis Presley's former home targeted with BLM graffiti, generating fierce debate online. Kremlin says Putin will speak at UN General Assembly for the first time since 2015, and he's already preparing his speech. As world's first COVID-19 vaccine, Sputnik 5 enters third phase trial, elderly scientists successfully tested on themselves. These have been blowing my mind for quite some time. I've been paying attention to this ever since I've heard of the first one. Another giant crater appears in Siberia, making it the region's 17th mystery pit. Yeah, 17 of them now. That's nuts. Supposedly nobody knows what's causing them. It's crazy. A nerve agent of Novichok group used to poison opposition figure Navalny, German government spokesman claims, citing hospital tests. Exxon eyes global job cuts to keep afloat after oil price collapse. Kremlin says Germany didn't inform Moscow of data showing opposition figure Navalny was poisoned with Novichok-like nerve agent. And again, they've been claiming that, but others are saying no. In dramatic U-turn after public anger, BBC says patriotic anthems will be sung at proms, but by select singers. Furlough keeps UK people in suspended animation and they must get back to work, Boris Johnson says. China crackdown, State Department slaps new restrictions on Beijing's diplomats. Portland mayor leaves pricey condo after rioters try to torch it, but says he still stands with the protesters, even though they say they don't stand with him. Practically all children will get infected, Madrid leader admits as schools plan to reopen amid spike in COVID-19 cases. Liberal bias ? Google appears to be hiding search suggestions that cast Black Lives Matter in a negative light. Despite stereotypes about dependence on hydrocarbons, Kremlin says Russia is gradually reducing economic reliance on oil and gas. Germany's Merkel claims someone wanted to silence Navalny, but spokesman says poisoning revelation won't affect Nord Stream 2. Developers of Novichok say Navalny's symptoms aren't consistent with poisoning by their deadly creation, reject German claims. There you go, there's number 2 up there. German allegations about Navalny could be justification for pre-planned anti-Russian response, says Russian Foreign Ministry. And American and Russian musicians come together to honor the heroes of World War II. That's cool. There you go. That's the headlines. All right. Well, let me go ahead and wrap this up since I'm going to put out today as well, and we'll go from there. So if you're here for the live show, stick around. Don't go anywhere. Don't do anything. We will be live until 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're just here for the monologue or you're watching the recording later on, thank you very much. As always, God bless you. We love you, and be one with your spirit.